Mhm. I'm recording, I guess. Hello. Okay. Wow. Welcome, everybody. It's been a while. It's been a while. This month's art prompt in meditation is called The Art of Limitation, creating within our own boundaries. So, creating within our own boundaries, that's a big one. This is about exploring what happens when life asks us to slow down, whether it's from illness, a loss, burnout, which is very real, grief, unexpected circumstances that create boundaries that we would never have chosen on our own. You know, I was not sure if I was going to do this recording today because over the last few months, I've been just doing voiceover with a slide because I have been dealing since Thanksgiving time of last year uh, with extreme limitations with my own body. I've been dealing with a post-viral infection and a lot of complications. So I decided I was going to honor wherever I was. And today I felt like, okay, I think I can be in front of the camera. Okay, so some things that I have been deeply pondering with the limitations I've been dealing with, which I'm going to be talking a lot more about in the coming months of how we deal and regulate our nervous system. So, what I've been pondering is how can limitations become my teacher, our teacher? How do limitations become medicine, medicine for the soul? And how can it or the limitation, I'm going to call it the it thing, the thing, is what I have overcoming, become a doorway into even a deeper creative life? Because I do believe the limitations can. As you all know, we now live in a world with endless demands. I believe the world is speeding up because we are moving and evolving into expanded consciousness. And with that, maybe our light bodies are becoming more, the molecules are changing, the DNA is changing. We're noticing more and more people claim to be biodivergent, hypersensitive. These invisible illnesses are showing up more and more. And with at the same time as this is happening, we have social media, more information coming at us than we can possibly ever absorb. And a lot of us try. We're encouraged to keep producing, we're encouraged to keep performing and to keep moving. So when life suddenly places boundaries around us, those boundaries can feel like failure. But what if they're not? What if they're the opposite? What if, as we're evolving consciousness and God isn't so much out there, but inside of us, what if those invitations of slowing down, if we treat it like an invitation, is moving deeper into our soul life? I like to think of it that way. And I think within that, we can actually expand our creative potential. For those of you out there who don't know who I am, this is Montacon Studio. I'm Lauren Montacon. I'm an artist and a mentor. And for more than 3 decades now, I've been a professional artist while guiding others to discover and sustain their own creative, now life force and their creative voices. I've always believed that creativity and our creative potential is much more than just making paintings. It's about listening deeply to our inner selves, to our intuition, to the signs and symbols that quietly appear in our lives, to something greater than ourselves, and perhaps most importantly, to the wisdom that lives in our own bodies. This channel has always been about sustaining a creative practice. Once a month, I put out a monthly art prompt and a meditation. And I am going to be expanding that to not maybe restricting to a meditation every 2 weeks, but at least a check in from what I give with the monthly art prompt. So, over this last year, it's taken me somewhere I've never expected to go. So, within this place where art, spirituality, healing, and the creative process meet, I want it to be a place for artists, seekers, and anyone longing to build a more soul led creative life, one that honors your own body as much as it honors your imagination. So, as I said, last fall, I developed a post viral illness. And for many, many months, my world first became confined to the walls of my bedroom. I literally was crawling on the floor for a few days, terrified with the phone in my pocket, ready to call 911 at any moment. So the healing process, I learned, it's not linear. It's like a spiral. It goes like this. Here's the sun, here's the moon. You're on the dark side, and then the sunshine, the dark side and the sunshine, but hopefully it's moving up. I've been through waves of grief and loss because I'm used to moving my body at a rapid pace. And in many ways, I was probably, before I got sick, there were signs and I wasn't paying attention. And I've been dealing with things like Lyme disease and mold toxicity for years. And it's just something that in the fall, when I got sick with a virus, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So it's felt a lot like rebuilding from ground zero. And why am I talking about all this? I just want to be transparent to you all who have followed my channel and why I haven't come on video. I'm still healing. I'm definitely nowhere near 100%. But my body, what I do know, is asking me to show up in a very different way. So I'm exploring that with you all. I simply wasn't listening, even though I teach and I mentor ways of slowing down to hear our soul speaking. But there are so many components that deal with the nervous system that I just started taking anxiety for granted. Like that's just the way I'm supposed to live, even though I have these meditation techniques and it would calm it. I had no idea that I was living at a certain plateau of not feeling well. So, one of the greatest lessons emerging from this journey has been learning to look at these limitations differently. And that is something that we're going to all explore because everybody has limitations. They just might show up as a workaholic, or they might show up as something in your physical body, your hips, your bones, arthritis. You're not moving the same, but you feel like you should keep up. For me, I have been learning how to move out of fight, flight, freeze, parasympathetic nervous system, and towards a greater sense of safety. I guess I have been living in my body, not realizing what safety really felt like for a long time. These are words that we hear often, or you might be hearing a lot of lately: the vagus nerve, nervous system regulation, pacing, things that have a certain amount of, as the world moves really fast, we're seeing sort of the other side of the coin saying, hey, we need to slow down. So over time, I'm hoping to teach, not teach, but gift, give you all what I am learning through brain retraining, nervous system regulation, and how to utilize that in your own creative practice. So you do not feel like you have to produce, but be able to have a balance in your life and your creative practice. So for me, making art has been incredibly limiting over the last 6, 7 months, almost non existent. And I started to realize I was getting tension built up in my body. I'm used to working big. I'm used to that using my whole body, to have that somatic experience. I would say that working small would keep us in our heads. Working large would encompass our whole beings. And I'm starting to have a different take on that. I've been scribbling, which I can really feel tension coming out of my body just from the scribbles. Recently, I've made maybe 2 or 3 13 by 11-inch paintings, something like that. And even though I've worked small and I'm working in a large, I don't have it here now, a large sketchbook, doing some watercolors, doing some scribbling, and I have, because I've been moving so slow, noticed how it's anchored me back to myself. I'm beginning to realize that it doesn't matter really what size you're working with. It's more about the discharge of energy. And so saying I've made 3 total paintings in 7 months, which has been a huge feat for me. What have I been doing most of the time? Because I haven't really been able to sleep because it's like being wired tired, anxious, yet exhausting at the same time. So I've learned to deep breathe, stare out the window, watch my honey locust tree, butterflies, birds, the light change. Then I noticed my thoughts, negative self talk, and how to regroup that whenever that was happening. And when I mean negative self talk, feeling sorry for myself, oh, this is going to last forever, and how to just be with the pain as opposed to fighting the pain. I also talk about this in painting a lot. You know, don't fight it. Just go with the flow, bust a move, get out of your brain, learn some techniques, and then forget about them. And here I am, like in real life, having to do this on a minute by minute, hour by hour basis. You know, I would have to say to myself, oof, that discomfort does not equal danger. Discomfort does not equal danger. Be here now and look at 5 things around my room very slowly. So have become aware of how the body can be hijacked. So returning to safety can happen through a mark making, a color, a planting of a flower, each time you say a kind word to yourself, that is the healing journey. So I was stripped of everything that is my identity, my working, my mentoring, my teaching, my painting. That is who I was. And I have really been asked on the deepest level to come to who am I and my worthiness without any of that. So I'm stepping forward not as someone who has all the answers or someone who is healed, because I'm stepping forward as someone who is willing to share the journey as I'm learning and still living in it, because I believe that is part of authenticity that I covet so and value immensely. I'm showing up, not waiting until I've arrived, but to just be here now. So for this month's art prompt, I'm going to invite you, or we're going to together explore our limitations, not the ones you wish you didn't have, but the ones that are here right now. It could be that you didn't sleep enough last night, or that it's really hot out and it's limiting your ability to create today. We will begin with a simple breath exercise, and then we will do a meditation, and then I will move you into the prompt like we usually do every month. So to begin, you might want to pause this and then come back and get yourself a cup of tea or a glass of water and get yourself into a comfortable position. And I'm going to do a breath exercise. I've been learning, there's a program I'm working with. It's called Primal Trust. And Dr. Kat is her name. And I'm doing right now a 40-day exercises that deal with toning the vagus nerve and calming our nervous systems down. So to begin, we begin in present time. This breath goes like this. You can say these out loud or to yourself. You breathe in and you say I. You breathe out and you say am. Breathe in, here, out, with, in, this, out, right, in, now. I am here with this right now. I am here with this right now. Breathe out. Gently close your eyes. And I want you to ask yourself, what boundaries is life asking you to work with right now? Just hold that sort of in your peripheral. And now I want you to imagine white light coming down from the top of your head, moving in and anchoring into your heart. You might even put your hands on your heart. Breathe in, breathe out. I want you to feel whatever thoughts are going on in your head, to just feel it drop. You even imagine thoughts as words, and Those words come down through your face and your throat, and they land right at your heart. And now intermingle some golden light with that white and feel it expanding, your heart expanding. And we're just going to allow ourselves whatever limitation life is asking you to work with right now, to just feel yourself leaning into it, not resisting, not fighting, but just allowing it to be with you. I am here right now with this. Now breathe in, hold. And then when you breathe out, make it a longer exhale than your inhale. Do this 2 more times on your own. Breathe in. Feel this golden white light expanding and illuminating outside your body, putting yourself into an auric egg, protection and safety. And when you feel ready, gently wiggle your toes and your fingers and slowly, ever so slowly, open your eyes. So I'm going to invite you first to write a little bit. What came up? What are you feeling in this present moment? How do you stay with the limitation without feeling it is something that's hindering your life, something that you might be fighting up against? How do we stay present with it? And then you can move on to the art prompt that will be provided for you, either below or in the notes. And until I see you in a couple of weeks, take good care of yourself and keep creating whatever that looks like, even if that means taking in the colors outside your front window. Okay, everybody, till next time.